Hello and welcome to this video from the Laptop Loaner. This video will tell you all about how to get started with your Loaner laptop and how you can see some of the software. So when you start up for the first time, turn the machine on and you'll get the Peppermint login screen. Slightly different sizes. I've scaled it up here using a screen recorder so you can see things. It does take a few minutes to do this. First of all, it wants to set up the system configuration. You can choose your language. Choose whichever language you want. Again, then you choose the keyboard layout. Most of you will be using English UK keyboard layout. And you choose your time zone, as it were, your system configuration. London is the closest, so if you just type in your name and you put in a password here, it wants you to have a decent password. And you can choose at the bottom whether you log in automatically or require my password to log in. We recommend you leave it as require my password to log in. The system then starts to set itself up with you as a user. You get some welcome screens for the Peppermint OS information there. You can read that if you want, or you can go off and have a cup of tea and come back. It takes about 5 minutes to do this. We've left as a real time so you can see, but obviously on the video you can fast forward through this if you want, but just to give you an idea of what the real run time actually is. This is all normal, just applying changes, making sure it's all working okay. Don't worry, you don't have to touch or cancel anything here. This will only do this on the first time you run the machine, as it's doing a setup for your account, because it's a completely fresh install of the operating system. It needs to have your user credentials and things like that you set up for it. Once you've done this, every time you turn the machine on, it boots up very, very quickly. There we go, so now we're coming into Peppermint proper. We'll get a black screen in a minute, and then the main desktop screen will come. So first of all, you type in your password, the one you just set. It's definitely the most secure to keep a password there so that when you open the computer up, you are the only person who can log in. And there we go, here we are on the Peppermint desktop. So there's a number of things. It looks very similar to a Windows desktop if you're used to that, particularly the old Windows 7 desktop. You can change the wallpaper, you've got a menu down there, you've got some start icons. So let's have a quick look in the menu. In the menu, things are grouped into similar programs. So you can see some of the things in accessories, games, graphics, internet, multimedia, office and settings and system and things like that, okay? Down in the bottom right of the screen, you've got things that deal with the Wi-Fi connection and updates, much as you would on a Windows machine. So let's go ahead, let's change the wallpaper first of all. There's a whole bunch of lovely photos there. You can add your own into this if you want to. It's really easy, you just right click on it and choose set as wallpaper. We're going to change the wallpaper. You might want to personalize that a little bit. There's some nice ones there. This is one of my favorite ones on the Peppermint desktop. Looks quite nice, the nice sort of sunset scene. There we go, over some water. And that's you really set up. So if you open Firefox, that's one you might be familiar with to start with. It's a web browser. I've already set up the Wi-Fi connection on this computer for my Wi-Fi network, but it's down in the bottom right-hand side of the little computer screen next to the green tick if you need to do that. So you can run a web browser. You can get an awful lot of stuff from there. Firefox always gives you that warning. And let's have a look at some of the programs there. There's Chromium web browser, which you might be half familiar with, maybe. Chromium is an open source version of Chrome. Chrome is the Google product. Chromium is exactly the same thing, but it was the development forum for Chromium, for Chrome, and it's now maintained by a company called Canonical, who are the publishers of Ubuntu, another Linux distribution. If you want to use Chrome or Chromium, you can do this and you can set up your Google account, your Google Drive and all of that to link in exactly the same way as you would in Chrome itself. But this is Chromium, as I say, which is an open source version. So you can see there, turn on your sync. I'm just going to demonstrate that to you. I'll hide my email address and stuff in the video. Gmail, in it goes. If you then do your password, oh, got the password wrong there, need to get the right one, get the right password, it then logs you in. It says, do you want to sync this? I'll confirm all the details, I'll block these out in the video. Turn on sync, yes, I'm in, and it then synchronizes. You can see I've got an email at the top there from that's telling me that yes, I'm in. It gives you your bookmarks. It'll remember your passwords and things like that you've taken across with you. You can see along the top there I've got all my normal bookmarks that I would use if I was using Chrome on a computer that wasn't a Linux-based one. And if I'm a student at university, particularly Bangor, I can go through to Blackboard Learn and I can click in and log into Blackboard, and that's how I'll access the online services at university. So let's have another look at some of the apps in the menu, some of the things that are already pre-installed. If you want to look at graphics, you've got GNU Image Manipulator. So this is like a sort of Photoshop. It's really a useful tool that can handle all photo manipulation. Very similar in its powers to things like Adobe Photoshop itself. Again, it's a free and open source piece of software. The one thing about free and open source software is it also means there's an awful lot of knowledge on the internet about it. So if you are stuck for things, there's a lot of forums and help bases out there that you can just type in GIMP or GNU image manipulation and what you want to do, and they'll be usually they find a post to help you do that. But as I say, this is a particularly useful image manipulation program. It's available on other platforms as well, but it works particularly on Linux. Again, it's free and open source. You can shuffle that around, and we'll close that down. Let's have a look at another piece of software, another app which is available there, which is also in the graphics, which is Inkscape. So Inkscape is what's called a vector graphics program. Its equivalent in the Adobe suite might be Adobe Illustrator. Again, it can handle all those sorts of files, works in the same way. It's more for artwork that works on a vector system. We've looked at the internet. If we go to the Office, there's a couple here. You've got LibreOffice, that's the Office suite, which is available entirely free. Again, no license needed. It can handle Word and Pages files if you're using those or others. This is what you can use to work offline. It can save things in the Word format as well. It looks very similar to Microsoft Word, and you've got the opportunity there to use that. It's totally free. Equally, in that menu option, you've also got a link to Word and Excel and everything online. If you scroll down a little bit further, so you can, that will take you through directly. This is the LibreOffice Impress, it's called. It's like a PowerPoint type presentation program, bit of software. But as I say, you can get through to the web-based apps just using the menu icons there. And there's a way you can actually save some shortcuts to those, which I'll show you in just a little bit. There's the calculator one. LibreOffice Calc is like the Excel. So you can see there are the similar sort of things to what you might find on a Windows machine, but actually these are all free and open source. Means they tend to be a little bit more stable, and obviously you don't have to pay for them because they're entirely free. So here we go, you can see there's the online apps and they're actually linked to online. So if I click on this, it will just take me to the general Microsoft login page. If you're a university or school student and you've got access to Office 365, you can sign in here and it will let you in. If you don't, and you're just working on your own, you can set up a free account with Microsoft and you can access this stuff for free online. There's limited functionality on the free stuff, but you can still use it. It's up to you what you do. We recommend that you don't save any local data onto the hard drive of the computer because it might get lost. So this nice little utility, ICE, is a way that you can make a shortcut from a web page, but then have Peppermint think of it as a program. So you can choose where in the menu you put it, whether it's Internet, Office, whatever. I would always choose that to create this with an SSB isolated browser profile. That means you can control the window. What that means is when it opens it up, instead of being in a normal browser window with lots of tabs and things along the top, all it does is it opens it up just like it would a normal app. Along the top of the menu here, you can switch users, you can go to log out, you can change the settings. At this point, you can choose how you shut down the machine. useful to shut it down every now and then to make sure that it will close properly. And you get this screen as Peppermint is shutting down. There we go.